Hi, I'm Susan. I'm from Worldpeacefull, and today's theme for me is Earth changes. I keep getting this urge to look into ice melting, axis shift, and polar reversals. So I started to think about how I'm going to put this together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a poem first called A Renewable Earthrise. Then the next video, I'm going to have a look at the science of melting ice, axis shift, and just a little bit on the magnetic field. Before I start, I'll just sort of contemplate a little bit. When I travelled the world, I had three purposes in mind. One was to overcome fear and to travel alone as a female. It was to face all fear, because I believe the harmonics with the natural order emerge from finding peace within. This is what naturally recalibrates us to the planet, in my view. That's why I work on peace. The second was I wanted to visit sacred sites because there were messages left for us in ancient civilizations where understandings of harmony with nature were very much integrated into the social fabric of how people live. The spiritual nature of humankind is intrinsically linked to the harmonics of the planet, in my view. But this sort of spiritual awareness again links to peace and an awareness that there are things that we do not know, the knowing of which changes everything, and to know that consciousness permeates all life, and there is a sort of a 0 point from which all things have come into manifestation. So the sacred sites was the second thing. And the third aspect was the environment. So as I flew around the world, I was looking out the window of the plane, really contemplating firstly the diversity of nature around the planet, all the different systems, the tropics, arid lands, deserts, islands, savannas, mountains. I think of the Himalayas there, just how high they were. And my feeling was to look at the earth from the sky and just see, firstly, what the impact of humans has been on it. And you can see that through the various, in some places, incredibly mapped out agricultural systems that are in grid-like forms, or watering systems that run in circles. It's quite fascinating to see dots from the sky. Pardon me. To look at urban development as well. To look at urban development, the massive cities, to look at the towns. I also like to look at the cars. So when I'm looking down and the people, to see all these little busy lives happening, oblivious to those flying overhead, oblivious of the big picture. So as I look out the plane window, I'm looking at the oceans. I'm looking at other planes. It might be parallel to the plane I'm on. I look out to the horizon. I look at the sphere of the planet. I look at its shape. In some cases, I saw both the sun and the moon at opposite ends. It was very fascinating. I look at the stars. I look at the cumulus clouds, thunderstorms. The incredible tectonic activity that's created the mountains. And I think about how our impact has created imbalance on the planet, and that's because when we're out of harmony with nature. So my world trip was really on those three levels, which I saw as intrinsically linked. If we're going to gain some sorts of insight into how to develop solutions to firstly how we're undermining our own life support systems and how we've undermined our own happiness and humanity, and how we've lost connection to those ancient origins of which solutions are key. There's so much we've forgotten. So with that, I might go to the poem now. It's called A Renewable Earthrise. The world of compassion is the absence of fear. It sees all as yourself. For we are the Alpha and the Omega, and you are called to come together. For we are never alone. When love is the leader that doesn't follow, that emerges from the shadows of ignorance. For fear gets us up, sits us down, quietens us down, makes us work all hours. Fear does another's beckoning without question. Just imagine if love led your life. Where would you go? I am learning to have the courage to face fear, to question unquestioned thoughts, to stand up, not sit down, to leave what doesn't work. For fear is a limited belief system that controls freedom. Yet the world is rolling into the chaos of treason. As a new call is beckoning you to know yourself and be true. And this is not fiction. It is not fantasy. It is a new natural selection of which there is no election. As you will make the choice to face truth, I ask, what if we chose different thoughts, to choose another pathway, a new neural network, paved with visions of opportunity rather than risk, lined with the golden promise of an earth on the rise, rather than stumbling over the rocks of lies that will fall, blocking our view of the potential horizon. What if I made my own promise to never lie, to look up into the sky of possibilities and cry out, to accept I don't know what my life is for, but to allow life to take my life as a natural selection, an unknown future that sees the trees and the forest without fear. I wonder what I would see over this horizon. For some see the glass half full, others see the glass half empty. Some deny the glass, others believe it doesn't exist. For there is the path of unlimited opportunity. The other sinks to the bottom of despair, clouded by doubt and a bitter taste. But what if, in truth, it was the sweetest nectar? For I am tasting the possibilities of what if. I am flying to see what nature can offer. For I am nature on offer. Every possibility unfurls the petals as the flower shows its full potential when it is grown, when it grows. For it is my true nature to offer and then see, for all possibilities are set out before me. Mind is infinite, life is infinite, diversity exists in more than 1 trillion life forms, informing us that diversity is the origin of species. A magnificent blue jewel sparkling promises of infinite value that cannot be measured in cost accounting the parts, For the sum of the parts is the infinite in the whole. As we look out framed windows of skyscrapers that barely have scraped the sky of possibilities, as many of us now live in a concrete jungle and think it is construction. Rectangular Lego bricks building linear futures perpendicular to the sun, rather than the precision of the equinoxes tracked by an equilateral triangle within degrees of freedom. Pyramids rising up from the desert storm of climate change form an apex housing the afterlife, a trinity of life where all are equal. For this is the sacred balance, opening secret chambers of original knowledge, burying the alchemy as offerings to nature, rather than Fort Knox encasing a limited gold standard as offerings to the few living as pharaohs. Industry titans transforming base metals into lucre, transferring into gold to retain value is no mystery. Yet the alchemy of love was always the real gold that sets the standard by giving to the poor. The standards of poor revise as gross national happiness, for greed is a lost civilization stuck in a Bermuda Triangle of corrugated boxes, awaiting the axis to shift to a new trajectory. Yet what if we opened the corral gates, the corral gates, to rising possibilities? Would all the horses bolt for the countryside? For fear seeks to hold us in place, displacing love for the gold, as the illusion of wealth is not abundance, and this bubble will burst. For happiness was never the closing of a financial deal, trading off the earth for securities and bonded labour, when security was inherent as the earth as a whole, a living system, free and abundant. For we sold the past to live in a dying future, where stocks and bonds became the tethers that bind us to irrational dreams. To break free, one must stop to see, then look. Reflect on the mirror of your life as it is. What is reflecting back to you? Is it the outcome of your actions? Do you greet life in harshness and baseless platitudes? Do you receive it with gentle gratitude? An attitude that gives without a second thought? Or do you calculate what the deal will offer? What's in it for you? For it is a hard life when calculated, or a soft landing when participating. For to flow with your highest vision gives you permission to live your own life, for you own your life, and foresee a renewable future. So, my friends, what of life on earth? What of cheetahs? What of the albatross? What of elephants, mammals, reptiles, arachnids? We close our eyelids as we cannot see what we don't look. Microscopic organisms are invisible to ignorance living in the middle of a city. Gets under the skin. As rainforests are uprooted for agricultural production, agriculture carbon sinks the green revolution as population explodes and topsoil is blowing in the wind. But we do not want to lift the lid on the reality of our spiritual impoverishment. Yet we must face central questions of fear and control with gentle attitudes as the new peace offering, and shed your tears, for it is not working. A Rubik's Cube of impossible combinations that have not found the answer in power over. It is time to find the spiritual center that needs no work. For the centerpiece arrives on time when you do. And it will not come through politicians or business leaders. It will be through individual efforts of you and of me when you finally see your little seed breaks through the hard environment to grow the tree of your precious life in healthy conditions, spreading roots of peace far and wide. A new evolution naturally selects the truth of love rather than extinction. As each year harmonizes a New Year's resolution to become a United Nations mandate, finding solutions. For fate is from all thoughts everywhere. F-A-T-E, from all thoughts everywhere. And fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. As the realization that we create our reality. For the noble peace is prized. For living our true humanity. Awakens consciousness just in time, as sanity selects a renewable earth rise. So there's a lot of information in that poem as we travel across the earth and we think through who we are, what the world is, what the possibilities could be, and how love is the real wealth of all nations, and how equality is the great equalizer that enables a harmonic convergence between all people, for no one is higher or lower than anybody. These are all concepts and constructs that we have created through the moneyed system. Yet, as I've said in this poem, this type of system is sinking the planet. It is time to come together to create a renewable, a renewable earth. Some may call this the new earth. The time we're in right now, we have to stop being busy and getting caught up and distracted in the things that really don't matter so much. I know people are working very hard for their children, and I deeply honour and admire the devotion that you feel for your family. But you have to start to look outside your window now. You have to look up at the sky. You have to look at the sun. You have to look at the earth, because this is what the children are inheriting. And so far there's been very many that have sat in denial and have not changed in order to create this renewable earth. We're still transfixed by money because we're feeling insecure. But the true security of humanity rests in stable earth systems. If we lose that 1 inch of topsoil, we lose arable land. We can't grow fruit and vegetables. If the wind's blowing it away, if the earth is heating up and the ice caps are melting, and this is creating a huge weight shift, which is moving the axis of the planet, which changes the seasons. And if we're also noting that the magnetosphere is weakening, therefore solar flare activity impacts the planet far more. Now, this is not to become despairing about this, because I'm a great believer that things happen for a great purpose for all of us. And I see life as always working for us, not against us. And it is always seeking the highest outcome. But it's for humans now to take responsibility for even past generations who have led us to this point. We are the ones that are the change makers on this planet, and the time is now. We have to start to inform ourselves, and we have to change our patterns. We have to find inner peace in order for solutions to arise. For the earth to change, we must change, because we are nature itself, and that is not something that's well understood. But we have to become more still. We have to stop the busyness. We've got to stop all the production. Slow it right down to the necessities and to use technology in such a way that it creates homeostasis. We have to start to look upon the world from a peaceful prism in order to rebalance. We don't need all the things we have. Much of those things are compensating for what we feel we have not felt within ourselves. We've been too busy running from ourselves. We are in probably a time of the greatest change that the planet has ever seen right now. My work in peace is to seek to understand how our inner world affects our outer world, and how peace is not a lofty, rose-colored concept. Peace permeates all life. And in actual fact, peace is here anyway. It's just that we block ourselves from realizing it with real eyes. We don't have to make peace. We already are peace. So that means we need to get back in touch with who we are. And through those intrinsic universal values, start to look upon the world and the various problems that we're facing. And if we come from values rather than the thinking mind, we have to come into the heart, because that's where the true connectedness to nature comes from. That's how we change. We have to come back to who we really are. Then we will know what to do. To know thyself and be true, as was suggested in this poem, is the central message of this video. And with that, I send you peace, love, and a recalibration with nature through harmony. I look forward to our renewable earth. Take care. Bye.